Wednesday, everybody. It is your host, Coach, and we are back to FCC. We got a lot of things to talk about. First things first, 4 weeks out of there. We are a quarter into the NFL season. We've seen a lot of good football. We've seen a lot of horrible football. Oh. And what's bad is they play good and still lost. So we don't get to them. As we do, we're going to start off Coach's show with a wonderful apology. Who are we apologizing to today, guys? Chicago Bears fans. Fans, I don't know what you guys are going to do. One game, he threw for 306 yards. Justin Fields had 3 passing touchdowns. He actually looked like a quarterback in this game. And then they still lost. I mean, one of these 0-4 teams had to take an L. You ever said it can't be us because we just lost by 70. We lost by 50. Got 70 on us last week. So, granted, I was going for Denver, and it wasn't looking good at first. 28, what they down? 28-0. And then Russell Magic came out of nowhere. And here we are, Denver with the win, 1-3. So, I'm apologizing to the Chicago Bears fans because not for anything in particular, just, man, I'm sorry. I had to apologize to somebody today. It's not going to get better. The schedule doesn't get better, so this team's not going to get better. Defense is pretty horrible. And don't nobody want to be there. He left, but I think it's for other reasons rather than him just getting fired. He wanted to walk away. You have players that don't want to be there anymore. They've walked away already. So there's really no names on the Chicago's team that could do anything quite possibly for them to win outside of I don't know, tanked season in players. Could that possibly be where they're headed? No. Cardinals obviously ain't tanking. They don't have a roster, and obviously their roster can hang with the Cowboys. So, one of the best ways to push Fields out is to draft somebody better. I mean, it's not like you can literally cut him right now. That'd be a waste. There's so much that's a problem in Chicago. Cutting Justin Fields ain't gonna fix your issues. He's gonna make you look like the bad guy in the worst way. However, making him go out there looking horrible ain't gonna help your organization either. So they found a way to make him look decent, and he still lost. I don't know. I really don't know if there's an answer for this situation. They are 0-4. It's not like the Chicago Bears are about to go on a 12-game winning streak. So what are we looking at? 7 wins, maybe 6. Last in the division. I mean, they look worse than the Vikings. And the Vikings, at least, but the Vikings have pretty damn good offense. Their defense just don't like to play defense. They want to, I don't know, play hopscotch because it ain't defense that they're playing. But I don't know. I don't know what the Chicago Bears' answer is right now. I mean, the answer is you need a better quarterback. But then you put a better quarterback back there. Is the offensive coordinator doing anything? Is the defensive coordinator doing anything? Is the head coach doing anything? There's a lot of holes in Chicago right now. Justin Fields ain't feeling none of them. He's been there as long as he has, and it's looked the same. And he'll have a game like this where you'll question everything that he does. Don't do that. He's not good. He's not going to go back. He won the game in week 4, and he still lost. That's why I'm apologizing to the fans. Like, I don't know what else y'all can do. I mean, just wait till it gets better. I don't know. Because they get better this season, I can tell you that. But they'll be last place. They'll be last. It'll be Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay, and then Chicago. This enough apologies. Let's get back to fantasy football. So, did everybody enjoy week 4? I know I did. I know some of y'all didn't. I know whoever had AJ Brown was. But let's get one thing clear. We're gonna clear this up now. Again, AJ Brown is not trash. It's not garbage. But he's not the number 1 receiver. And let's move on. But he did play outstandingly with 9 receptions and 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. Before we continue with more, I just wanted to highlight a little bit of AJ Brown. A little bit. We're worried because of that one game, and it's just like, guys, like you have a game where he didn't play good, like it went to Smitty. You have to understand they have 2 great receivers, whether he's the 1, the 8, the tight end, receiver slash runner, whatever you want to call AJ Brown, right? He's literally number 1, 2 in targets. Okay. So with that being said, what he was upset about was his targets. He wants his targets. Why ain't you seeing me? They had that little talk. They had that little spiel. Here you go. This is the result of what happened on the sideline. But you guys don't worry about it. It's in the first 4 weeks, those great receivers, some of them will, some of them won't. But like, for instance, looking at the Adams, yeah, killing it, right? Raiders ain't winning the football game though, and he ready to move on. So it's just the first 4 weeks, you gotta let things play out. It's played out enough for the Detroit, for the New York Giants that we might be saying they might be going on. It look bad over there. Man, can't nobody catch. They don't have not one receiver. One. It's like, ugh. Like, I mean, come on. All they have is Daniel Jones. And then it's just like, we ridicule him and then we rip him. It's just like, it's just all he got. Let's look at Pat. I get it. Pat got at least a tight end. But outside that tight end, what did it look like without him? Like Daniel Jones, right? Not him playing, just the atmosphere of they can't get nothing done. Like there's nothing in to give him. And I'm not saying Devontae is not going to no Detroit or no New York, but give him the caliber of that type of receiver, at least one. And it's a different story in New York. It looked bad because man, can't nobody catch. I don't know what he went from 21 receivers with over 1,000 yards last year, and it's just like now it's like can't nobody catch cold. What's going on? My position is just looking like complete garbage half the time. Well, I don't get it. No, don't get me wrong. Some of them is quarterback play because your receiver say he always open. He always effing open. Why you can't get him the ball? Well, you can't extend your leg, which means you can't plant your foot, which means you can't extend course to throw. I'm just saying, I'm not a scientist or a doctor, but watch enough football to know what happens when you can't do anything with that. You know that one leg that looked different than the other, the one that they got wrapped up with some tape, whatever other pushing they got in there so that Achilles don't continue to rupture. But I don't know. I don't know if he's saying that because quarterback need to play better. I don't know if he's saying that because the quarterback need to sit down and they need to get pointed, throw now. So that girl can get healthy. That statement can be taken many ways. But what his quarterback is saying is right now, or his receiver is saying is right now, that quarterback is playing like booty. Better yet, in our segment, busts. Let's bring up a little bit more of those, i.e., Raheem Mostert. Now, look here. A lot of people are doing a lot of trades for Raheem Mostert right now. I'm going to tell you to stop. I'm going to tell you to stop. Don't do that. Here's why. I think Arcane took the lead role. That's hands down. I think he completely took it. And I think Mostert, he had 9 rushes. He had 3 receptions for 36 yards. And he had a fumble. That could have been just the atmosphere of the game. Could have been the fact that they're playing the Bills. We don't know yet. We'll see what happens next week. But I do think Arcane is coming in at the 1. And Raheem is that. I don't think they're going to split carries. I think Raheem is going to come in the game, but he's going to get a lot of you know, 7, 8 carries, and hopefully, excuse me, in the 40 yards and a touch. But I think most of those carries are going to go to Arcane. We'll see what happens. We'll keep our eye. But if you're making trades for Mostert, hold on. Oh, I mean, technically, it's a buy low right now type of situation. It's not going to hurt anything. But don't be mad if you don't pop off and you got him on your roster. And I'm just saying, Arcane looking real good. As though Debo looked good, Arcane looked better against that Bills defense. Just saying. Um, let's see, Debo. It wasn't a Debo game. It was a Christian McCaffrey game. Sometimes that happens. It's just you'd be better off just sitting with 0, right? He had the 6 rushing yards. You even catch one. Brandon Ayuk did though. Why? Because he's the receiver on the team. George Kittle again. I don't know why George Kittle should be. They have him here, and he was a little bit of a bust. But my thing is, when all the weapons are there, George Kittle can't be considered a bust because George Kittle don't get the targets like that. I mean, if you're starting George Kittle when Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey, and Evo are playing, you're risking 1.9 points. That's the way it is. It's only but so many targets that are going around, and most of those catchings or receiving targets are going to Ayuk. Chris Olave, yeah, you were a bust this week, buddy. But one of those busts that will have a bounce back. It's just I think I don't know if Carr should have played. I don't think him and throwing down the field were better than prior to the concussion. Yeah, but Kamara got a lot of work. Why? Quick up offs. That's what they were planning on doing. Now, it sucks because I wanted people to start Kamara last week, but didn't know Carr was playing. It looked like that one boy. Oh my goodness. Coach having a brain fart. Jameis Winston, I thought he was starting. But I went to we did go to their car, and as we saw, Amara had a really, really good game. And I think that's going to continue with Carr. I think with, something I said, with all the quarterbacks outside of Breeze, Amara did not look good. However, he may look good with Carr as he did with the first game, but we have to wait and see. Again, it was just one game, no film on him. Week 4, we'll see what happens as the weeks progress. But if you do have Alvin Kamara on your roster, that was a good 21 points if you did start him. And last but not least, TJ Hockenson, 2 receptions for 24 yards, only 4 points. You're gonna get about that was a bust week for him, and you're gonna get about 3 or 4 more weeks of TJ Hockenson as a bust. So I wouldn't say sit him because you don't know when those other 3-4 games are gonna actually happen. I would just more so just say have your roster not wrapped around him, have it more wrapped around other weapons. If you got TJ Hockenson as your tight end, hope for the best, expect something like this because it can happen. Don't get me wrong. Defenses are going to start getting a little tighter. They got to focus on one man only. So it may be an off and on game between him and Jefferson now targets, which may increase target shares for Jordan Addison. Maybe we have to kind of wait and see how that progresses. So if you have Jordan Addison on your bench, I would keep an eye on to see how those target shares increase because when defenses start getting tougher on Jettas and Hockenson, it's going to open up for that nickel, who is pretty weak on every defense, just about. So that third receiver is going to get a lot of action. All right, so let's look at what we have. Our overall studs for the week of week 4. We had Nico Collins, 7 receptions, 168 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 35 points in fantasy football. Beast. Now, I know everybody had Tank Dell. A little disappointed in Tank Dell because he had 2 great progressive weeks and he had a down week. Don't worry about that. Now, what I will say, those down weeks are going to be consistent in about, like I said, with TJ Hockenson. You can expect Tank Dell to have about maybe 5 weeks like that. The other weeks, I see him between 11, 15, and 20 points, but he will have those 5 weeks of downs. They're going to be So be ready to know how to flex or not play tank down, meaning have other weapons because if Nico Collins is going off, it's going to continue that way. Stephon Diggs, I love it when he play hot in hot weather. It ain't cold yet. 6 receptions, 120 yards, 3 touchdowns, 36 points. Real good. Same as Josh Allen, Mr. God of Football, 21 for 25. Oh, perfect. I love that. 320 yards, 4 touchdowns, 7 rushing touchdowns, and 17 rushes and a rushing touchdown. No interceptions, no fumbles. That is when it can't get no better than that, and that's against Miami, against that Vic Fangio defense. So I was really impressed. For Josh Allen to play as great as he did in that division game as well. Again, as we talked about, A.J. Brown, 9 receptions, 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. I know for a fact he was a hero because a lot of people were worried because he wasn't getting too much work. Well, he was getting the work, but he wasn't. It was spotty here and there, and then he just kind of went off. But he's understand too. And while week 4, and we see it every year, defenses come out a bit tougher in the first half. The third quarter kickoff, I'm going into like 7 minutes left. The defense is going to literally deflate, not play soft. No, they're going to deflate. Okay, as you can tell by the receptions of most of these receivers, 168 yards, 120 yards, 175 yards. Okay, they deflated. Period. Those defenses absolutely deflated. And that's just they came out very, very strong in that first half. That's just usually what happens. And don't get me, it's a weird thing because next week we're gonna see a more. That's what I'm saying. Be wary of your receivers when you start. We're gonna talk about that going into we're gonna talk about that on tomorrow's episode. Not tomorrow, Friday's episode. These defenses coming into week 5 are going to establish themselves as the top 5s, okay, top 10s of the NFL. So we're gonna get some nasty football play from receivers, meaning it's gonna be ugly. Now, your top receiver may have 112 yards at the end of week 5, maybe 125. Just depending on what the defense is playing. What receivers playing what defense. But this week you saw a lot of big receivers. Like even Ayuk, he had 150 yards, I think, 157 yards. Like it's that time of the week. It's that time of the year, week 4. It's come out hard, and then it's just a weird inflation of the defense, and all these points come out of nowhere. Look at Chicago. They were up 28-0 and then completely deflated in the second half. Christian McCaffrey, 106 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, 7 receptions for 71 yards and a touchdown. So this dude put up 177 yards total and 4 touchdowns total. Oh, well, I tell you what, Christian McCaffrey is playing like the hero of week 4. Yes, he is the absolute hero because, man, he has been playing like this since week 1. Him and Tyreek Hill, somebody races for MVP. Christian McCaffrey or doggone Tyreek Hill, but one of the bad boys is racing for NFL MVP because they are putting up ridiculous numbers, man, ridiculous numbers. Some more breaks and some more heroes over the weekend. Hey, if you had Justin Fields, he was a hero for you. He had 28 for 35, good numbers, 335 yards, 4 touchdowns actually instead of 3. He did have 1 interception and 1 fumble. But he was a hero because he had 27 points in fantasy at quarterback position. So I'm sure he saved somebody's life. Here you go, Jalen Hurst. Look, it looked ugly, right? It looked ugly because in the first half he didn't have much. It happens, guys. And remember, Jalen Hurst, most of those points come from him rushing touchdowns. They'll get you a couple of touchdowns. These 319 yards he had, you're not gonna see that every week. You're gonna see 193, 205, 218. But he's going to have 3 touchdowns most of the time. So you're always going to see Jalen Hurst between 22 and 28 points all the time. So don't ever worry about Jalen Hurst unless it's like 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter and dude ain't got you a touchdown yet. What is that panic mode? Lamar Jackson, 15 for 19, 186 yards. Boy, he did have 2 touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns off 27 rushing yards. So 28 points for him. Anthony Richards, 11 for 25, 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. 29 points for this young man. And of course, as we talked about prior, Josh, the god of football, fantasy football, Allen. 36.5 points. Running backs outside of Christian McCaffrey, we had David Montgomery. Hey, now this one, guys, be worried about Gibbs. Be worried about it. Look, he is number 2 in this offense for Detroit. David Montgomery is the lead back, and he's going to stay that way unless he gets hurt. Period. It's not going to be a shared situation. Gibbs is going to have to do the most with the opportunities as he gets. That's how I look at it. Josh Jacobs, 58 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 8 receptions for 81 yards. You are a hero because I get it. Your rushing yards were pretty booty, but you did put that work in that passing game that it looked pretty good for 8 receptions for 81 yards. Tyron Williams, I'm really impressed with what I've been seeing out of you lately. 103 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 receptions, and 24 yards. 24 yards receiving. And Devon Achane, 101 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 for 19, 27 points in fantasy. He is the lead back in Miami. I'm worried for Raheem Mostert now. They unleashed this kid, and they're not taking the reins off. I'm sorry. So Raheem is the number 2 now, and I don't think it's going to be a shared for that group either. Receiving heroes, DJ Moore. Hey, we got a good game out of them. They finally, again, it was Denver. We got to see if this continues. But outside of AJ Brown, Stephon Diggs, who we discussed, and Nico Collins, who we discussed, we have DJ Moore for 8 receptions, 131 yards, and a touchdown. And we have Puka Nacua, who is still 9 receptions, 163 yards, and 1 touchdown, 31 points in fantasy. And with Puka Nacua scoring as high as he did, this brings me to the point about the Rams. They have another running back. They got Puka Nacua. They get Cooper Kupp back. He practices this week. Same as Jonathan Taylor. He practices this week. Okay. Because our next segment for why we're speaking about practice is because we're going into coach's couch. And we about to vacate everybody that started damn near the beginning of the season on the pub list. And y'all can go ahead and come up off my couch. Taylor, come on out of there. Come on out of there. Let's get to practice. Let's get to work. And let's get these people some fantasy points. Okay? We ain't got time to keep holding y'all onto the roster. Eckler, you week to week still. I'm a little worried about you still. Okay? You ain't on the pub list, but all these pub list people, come on off the couch. Vacate. Okay? We got people like Judon. We got to see what happens. He's going to be on the couch for a couple months after this surgery. Aaron Rodgers, Nick Chubb, Trayvon Diggs, C.J. Garner-Johnson, J.K. Dobbins, Jack Thompson, Avante Maddox, Mike Williams. These guys need couch space. So week 4 public people, come off the couch, exit to the right, head on, get your pads. Let's get to practice. Let's get on the field. Let's get some fantasy points going and play some football. Everybody else, the couch is for season-long personnel. We are not here for you part-time herders. Get off the couch, get to work. Eat some Wheaties. Get some strong muscle fiber. Okay, eat some vegetables. Stop sucking down all that Chick-fil-A. Goodness gracious. Brittle bones, pimps. Brittle bones. We got to get stronger. Okay, but I'm loving what I'm seeing out these fantasy heroes. Hopefully, some of these couch sitters will turn into some fantasy heroes here within week 5, week 6. Okay. One thing as it pertains to the Chicago Bears, like we saw good football. We've got a lot of good people in our fantasy hero lineup. Here's the problem with that. They most likely gonna be bust next week. most likely. I am a Chicago Bears fan. I'm from Chicago. I'm from Waukegan, Illinois. I'm blue and orange. Okay. Same way as I'm blue and red. Same way as I'm green and blue. Okay. I got a lot of teams that I got specific connections to at specific times in my life. Yes, I'm blue and red. Save me, Texans. Oh, I'm blue and red because I was a car fan. Okay. I have ties to different teams, but Chicago, this one rolls a little deeper. See now, coach's last words. We got to take this one a little personal. I've been a fan of this organization. I think since I could look at the TV and watch football. I watched so many different Bears paraphernalia were around my house. Really enough, a lot of people in my family are Vikings fans. But I've gone my life hearing since the days of Walter Payton, and I wasn't alive. I was alive, but not alive. You know, again, I wasn't watching football during Walter Payton time. I kind of caught it a little bit after, but it's so many excuses for this organization that people make, and we need to come maybe to a realization. It hurts my heart to say, for my last words of this episode, I think it's time the Chicago Bears think about selling this organization to another owner. There have been too many times I've watched this organization make horrendous decisions on this team. And then I watched this team too many times start over. Bears never needed Brandon Marshall. There was nothing for Brandon Marshall to do in Chicago. So to follow Jay Cutler, who paid off his gambling debt. Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler was not the quarterback the Bears needed, and then Jay Cutler was not the quarterback the Bears needed to extendedly pay so much money to and do absolutely nothing. We made it to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman. That speaks a lot of volume. See, that was the days of a great Chicago Bears team. What that mean was they didn't need the quarterback to do all the work. They needed the quarterback to just be safe. And sometimes people, that's God, that's okay. That is okay. Okay, we don't need a quarterback to throw 50 times a game and think that's our Super Bowl quarterback. Hey, why? If he only connected 50 of those 28 times. It just sounds like you playing jackpot out there. Just launch it up. Let's all become Kyler Murray. I've watched so many bad decisions happen. And have you noticed, outside of me just always saying that he should have never been a Chicago Bear because I never thought he was a quarterback and I just never thought he was going to do anything for this team. Well, aside of me just knowing and saying those things, like I don't say much about Justin Fields because, again, last year he had a crappy coach, which was the same year before that as a rookie because look what happened to Mitchell Trubisky, who should have never been a Chicago Bear. You see my pain for this organization? So many decisions and bad ones were made, and nothing good has come from any of it. Not from the general manager, not from the head coaches, not from the ownership themselves. You are going to lose the fans in that great city if you don't do something fast. Like, come on, how many more years do they have to sit in that cold stadium, wanting to be in that cold stadium to watch their football team just look stupid? because you got somebody who can't throw a football accurately 3 different times. Oh, you thought that was an accurate quarterback? Let's see. If he was an accurate quarterback, what did that get you for the 10, 12 years you had him there? Please tell me. Last time I checked, he actually made it to the playoffs and ended up on a bicycle because of his thumb and pissed off the entire organization. Lost his wife. That's the quarterback you had running the Bears organization. Just to hand it over to Mitch Trubisky, who should have never been there. Chicago Bears played one of their best games they had played in a long time. And they took an L because the other 0-14 couldn't lose. Get that? So what is it, Chicago? You just didn't have enough in there. It was there, but we just we didn't have enough. Like what do you want fans to continuously pay these ticket prices for? We can't buy groceries. You are making us sell plasma so we can put gas in our tanks. Okay, pawn shops have never been more full. People are out here broke. You know, they're broke. We have no money. We can barely buy groceries in our own homes because of inflation, and it is bad. And then streaming services decided to say, "Oh, but guess what? Y'all going from $6.99 to 18." No, I'm not, but I'm gonna let you think that. Do you see my point? And now you're gonna sit here and tell me that people who blue collar people who pay good money for your expensive tickets, this is the product you want them to witness. You have to. You can't say no to this because this is what you gave them. You've given them this the last 3 years. Longer than that, really. We're just going to pinpoint on field, though. And somehow you thought that was a great choice. That boy sat there on that couch with a pouty face, knowing damn well he didn't want to come to Chicago. Knowing damn well there was nothing here for him. And, well, here's the results. Chicago, you got to make one of these mistakes. You got to fix something. You do, because these fans don't deserve this. Like, when is the last time you've even been to the playoffs? When was the last time you beat Green Bay? When was the last time you led the division? When is the last time the Chicago Bears have been a force to reckon with? I can tell you. I know exactly when. When Brian Urlacher was there. Yeah. No time. Brandon Marshall and Martellus Bennett and the big three monsters in the midway. Nope. I don't want none of that garbage. Nope. You can give me a little bit of peanut, but he was over there with Urlacher too. Give me the Urlacher. That's the last time I saw the Bears ever great. Since then, no. They've been good. They've gotten by. And then they've had Jay Cutler. Like, what do you want me to do with that, people? And now we got Justin Fields, who had the best game of his career. His career. And still lost. To a team whose defense allowed 70 points last week. You were beating them 28-0, and then you lost. I think by 3. What do you want me to do with that, Chicago? At this point, I think it is time for ownership to sell. I think new ownership needs to come in, new vision needs to come in, new direction, new mission, new everything, because you're going to lose financially when these people stop coming to the stadium. Did you not see what happened to the Giants the other day when they were losing? People walked out. They left the stadium. They don't care. It's the fact that it wasn't even Giants weren't even putting up a fight in the loss. They were just losing. Nobody can catch a football over there. No one. You got Adams out here mad, literally telling people, I ain't got time. Why? Yes, he's an old receiver. So yeah, you know where he's going? To somebody, he getting traded this year. He's going to somebody that can need to use him. I don't know. Maybe the Chiefs, who got a quarterback who is literally carrying that team 3-1. Yeah, he needs a receiver badly. He could use Devontae Adams badly. Waddle, another one. He's getting traded because he can be used as a one. He's not going to be. You got Barrios getting more touches than Waddle, and it's not Waddle's fault. It's the fact that Hill is the man there, and now Arcade is the man. Target share people. So yeah, Waddle's going to be another one. Would I be surprised if the Chiefs messed around and got both Waddle and Adams? No, I wouldn't be. It'd be a dream come true. I don't think that dream's going to happen, but I do see the Chiefs getting one of those two receivers to make their organization better. See, that Chicago is what's called a great decision. Not picking up Nathan Peterman, a worse quarterback than Justin Fields. That was your decision. Point blank, coach says some outlandish things. Well, here's outlandish thing for week 4. The Chicago Bears need to sell. A new owner needs to come in and take over. Coach has had a wonderful episode. I hope you all have enjoyed. This one was a little short. As you can see in Coach's eyes, I need to go get some sleep. I am tired, but don't worry. We got another show tomorrow. Coach has another show Friday. We got a lot of great things to talk about to get ready for week 5 because we have a lot of important information to come out because why? Coach's couch is emptying out. These published players that have been on my couch for 4 weeks, they about to go to practice. They're about to go to work. So we got a lot of people to talk about. We got a lot of people we got to pick up off the waiver wire. We got a lot of targets we got to target off the waiver wire. We got a lot of buy lows and sell high players we got to discuss as well. All that we're going to discuss tomorrow before that wonderful Thursday night football game. I hope you guys enjoyed last week. I hope you guys enjoyed the morning game. We're going to get used to it. London games ain't going nowhere. If you live in the Midwest, you have to get up 6 o'clock in the morning to catch the 8 o'clock game. You live out west. I don't know what time you got to get up to catch that morning game. I think you just got to wake up and catch them highlights if you're in California. Us, it's a little different. I think this game starts at like 10 o'clock on the east, over here on the East Coast. I can do that. Little breakfast game. I like that. Move out to the east. Don't come to Miami. Go like New York or something. Don't come over here. We flooded with people. Stay out. Y'all have a wonderful day. Coach is out.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.